Hey guys, it's Sharon here again, and I'm continuing my series in bringing forth experts to help us navigate this COVID-19 shut-in. So the last time I brought a psychologist on, and she was able to help us, with some tips and strategies of how to navigate the relationships at home. Today, I'm bringing on addiction expert, author, speaker, and business consultant, Jack Alan Levine, who, by the way, has been a friend of mine for over 20 years. So I know he knows his stuff. And so he's going to talk to us today a little bit about how do we, look out for those addictions that could creep its head up during this time, and just kind of give us some tools to navigate this, this time that we're home. So Jack, welcome. And can you explain to us what is addiction really? Because I think people are confused as to whether, what's an addict, who's an addict, and they have some preconceived ideas. So I want you to just explain to our audience, what is addiction?
Sure, Sharon. First of all, thanks so much for having me on the show. It's a pleasure. Just great to be here today, and I'm happy to share what knowledge I have. I'm a recovering drug addict myself. I went through it myself, went through it with family members, so I have firsthand experience as well as professional experience. So we would define addiction as a chronic problem. It's something that continues on and on. It may affect you psychologically, physiologically, socially, relationally, but it's that desire and need to keep having this item in your life, and it's past normal. We understand that there are people who can use drugs and drink alcohol and gamble recreationally, but many of us cannot. And for us, it's an addiction, and that is something that preoccupies our mind. It takes over our lives. And Sharon, it's not about quantities. Some people only drink on the weekend. Some it's a glass of wine or 2 glasses after work. Some it's a Percocet or a line of cocaine or methamphetamine or other things, Xanax or other things. So it's not about quantity. It's about the place it brings you. And addiction is a disease. 1 out of every 7 people struggle with addiction here in America. There's 40 million people who have addiction issues over 12 years old in America. And to give you a glimpse of that, cancer, there's maybe 19 million, diabetes, 26 million, heart disease, 27 million. So addiction is more rampant than that. And to put it in context with Corona, we have 48,000 cases right now in the US. We've had approximately 615 deaths. We have 48,000 overdose deaths in America this year alone. So, it's a rampant problem. But you'll know you're addicted if you can't stop. I often tell people and challenge them, I say, listen, I'll believe you're not addicted, because people want to tell me how not addicted they are. And I'll say, I'll believe that. Just put it down for 90 days, 60 days, 30 days. And the fact of the matter is they can't put it down for 2 weeks, much less 2 days, because it's become a habit, part of their life. It's a chronic issue for them.
What was surprising for me was when you said it wasn't about quantity, because, in my mind, I'm an addict if I have to drink 4 glasses of wine per day. So to me, I felt that was a mark of addiction. But you're saying, even if I only drink on the weekends, I could be addicted if I cannot cope with life without it. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And I sat with many recovering addicts myself, and AA meetings and NA meetings and counseling sessions, and I saw that we were all in the room, and all of us had a different story. For me, it was Percocet and cocaine. Another guy, it was Xanax. Another guy, alcohol. But here was the interesting part. The place it brought us all, spiritually and emotionally, the destruction and the devastation, we were all the same. It didn't matter what horse you rode in on. It mattered where the addiction had taken you. And people need to understand that addiction is a disease. It overtakes you. It changes your brain chemistry and your thinking, and it affects every part of your life. So now the addiction is running your life. All you're thinking about is, let me get home and have that glass of wine. And you're thinking it's your friend, it relaxes me. And that's the lie of addiction. It will tell you, I'm the only one who understands you. Oh, the world's stressing you out. Your spouse is stressing you out. Your kids don't understand. Your boss doesn't understand. There's all this pressure on you that's so hard to handle. Come to me, the addiction. I'm your savior. But we say in addiction, and we've learned that there's comfort in familiar pain. You'd say, why would someone continue to engage in that destructive behavior? And addicts know, Sharon. Believe me, your friends and my friends who claim they don't have an addiction, they know they need to stop. They know they need that drink. They know they need that pill or that hit or whatever it is. They know they're hooked. They may be denying it, but inside they know that, you know what, I've become dependent on this. I always thought I could kind of invite, I call addiction part of Satan. It's like a sin. I always thought I could invite Satan in, play with him, and tell him when it was time to leave. And then somewhere I realized that, no, I'm over the line. This is a problem, and I need help. And that's the good news. There is.
No, I didn't want to cut you. I said, wow, that's a good, when you said inviting Satan in, inviting in the devil and thinking I can play with them and then say, hey, it's time to go. But with addiction, you can't just say it's time to go. You're actually going to need help. So Jack, like, now that we're going through this pandemic and more of us have to stay home, what are you seeing? So that's a trigger, right? The anxiety is a trigger.
Oh, most definitely.
Wow.
So here's what we're seeing in the recovery community now. First of all, the good news is this is a great time to get help. The world is shut down. It's no longer like, well, I got to go to work or this and that. No, you're working from home. No one would know the difference. This is a great time to get help. The treatment centers are open. They are screening people as they come in to make sure they don't have corona symptoms. And then it's business as usual. So what we're seeing in crisis, and this is historically in all crisis, Sharon, people use more drugs and alcohol. They use it. They think they're calming themselves and it's helping them. And short term, it does for that night or those couple hours. But long term, it actually does the opposite. It actually makes you more anxiety, more depressed, more upset, more frustrated. So it is not a long-term situation. So what we know in recovery is that community is a key to recovery. Isolation is your enemy. As a matter of fact, the drugs isolate you. When you do the drugs, you're in your own world, outside of the world. So we need that community. It's available. Fortunately, there's a great online community. If you Google AA or NA meetings or recovery online, there's recovery groups online. So that's not an excuse for people not to seek recovery, but this is a better time as ever. And you're going to see there's going to be tension in the families, because normally an addict can go about his business and leave the house and yeah, everybody knows you're addicted. We may not have told you because you won't let us, but we know it, and we know it too. We're just not saying it.
It's true.
It's the truth. But this will cause more tension. But I think from the family perspective, that family members need to calm down and realize that they're not going to be able to save their loved one. That's a decision that has to come from the person himself to seek help. But they can say to their loved one who's addicted, listen, we're together in this time. I need you to be present with me in this family time, not in your addicted state. Can you take a little time, an hour, 2 hours for us as a family, and be present, and then do what you're going to do. But hopefully that do what you're going to do will now be help. I came to the point and see so many addicts who realize that I can't live like this anymore. And when somebody's ready for help when they say, I'll do whatever it takes to get sober because I can't live like this anymore. And that's the bottom line. If they're not there, they're not ready. No matter how much pain they've suffered, it hasn't unfortunately been enough. Loss of houses, loss of jobs, loss of homes, loss of family, everything, physical, social, relational, financial, devastation. And yet individually, until each person says, I've had enough, they're not ready. So hopefully today, your viewers, there'll be people out there who say, I've had enough, and they won't wait. This is the perfect time to go into recovery.
And maybe when at the end, Jack, we could get some links for people who, where they can go get help. I know we have a book that you've written, My Addict Your Addict. We're going to have a free e-copy of this in the link for you guys who may know someone, may not be you, but you may know someone who could benefit from this. Now, Jack, I know you were, a high-powered businessman, right? Before you turned your life fully to, really helping with people with addiction. So would you say there was more prevalence with entrepreneurs or young people, old people, women, men, or is it just everyone? I mean, what are you seeing?
It's a great question. It does cut across every demographic, psychographic, geographic profile in the country. It's young people, it's housewives, truck drivers, businessmen, but certainly we see it in the professional community, in lawyers and executives and doctors and in high pressure jobs. There's a lot of responsibility. And yet, we see it everywhere. I wish it could be pinpointed in one place, but it really is everywhere. It's an escape. It's isolation, and it's an escape from reality. And, we used to say in college jokingly, reality is for people who can't handle drugs. We were young and stupid and thought that was funny. It becomes unfunny very quickly when the addiction takes hold of you. So it really is everybody. And, again, the good news is there's help out there. It's poor people, it's rich people. It has no known, boundary to it, which makes it even that more destructive.
Is there anything you can leave with our viewers? As you know, I know that our time is almost up. Is there anything you can leave with our viewers? Any tips? Now everyone's home. And like you said, we always knew that dad had an addiction problem or mom had an addiction problem, but we kind of went about our business. we kind of ignored it, we played it down, but now we're all home together and we see mom and dad reaching for that drug of choice. What can we do as family members, and what can you do, or what signs should we be looking out for to say, you know what, I think maybe it's time for an intervention, time for this person to get help? What can we look out for?
Well, you know the signs, you'll see them already. You'll see the behavior in your loved one, but here's what you can do. The good news is you can tell them there is hope, there is a way out. I'm a spiritual guy. The word of God says no temptation has seized you except what is common to man. But when you are tempted, God will provide a way out. And that's biblical. God has provided a way out. There's 7 different ways to get sober, and all of them will work. They don't all work the same for everybody. It's like going to New York. You can fly, you can take a train, you can take a bus, you can walk, you can hitchhike, you can ride on camel. There's a lot of ways to get there. Some of them are much more efficient and effective than others, but the truth is all of them will get you there. So the good news for addicts today and those struggling, there is hope. There's a way out if they want it. What are those hopes? First of all, there's rehab. There's 30-day inpatient rehab. There's AA and NA, which is Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous programs. There's therapy, there's counseling, there's Celebrate Recovery programs in the churches. There's long-term programs like Faith Farm and Teen Challenge, which are amazing programs. So there are different ways. And of course, my favorite is pray to God. Give the addiction to God and ask him to take it away. Very good at that. But you have to really be willing to give it to him. But he also gives us medicine and doctors and therapists to help us, and the counseling that you get in rehab, the understanding of why you do drugs. People don't really understand until they go to rehab, till they get the psychological counseling of, wait a minute, the drugs were a symptom. It's like going into a burning building and shutting off a smoke alarm. It's not so much stop using drugs and your life will get better. It's understand why you use them, recognize those issues, and then you can put them aside.
Well, Jack, thank you so much. I wish we had more time, and we may do a part 2 to this, but folks, I'm going to put the link to Jack's book in the free ebook in the comments. Also, a way, if you are having an addiction problem or know someone who does, Jack has a program to help you. I'm going to put his contact information in the links below as well. And I look forward to your questions. So, Jack, thank you so much for coming on. We'd love to have you back again.
Thank you, Sharon. My pleasure. God bless you all.
Take care.